guys, for the first time since 1993, barring any catastrophic meltdown here in the final 2 minutes, the Cleveland Browns are 2-0.
A few moments later.
Oh, my God. The Jets just scored a long touchdown. That is just embarrassing.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Jeff, stand by. Onside kick. Onside kick. The ball's loose.
2 seconds later.
Are you kidding me, Browns? What is going on here? They got their heads up their ass, fellas.
A few minutes later.
3rd and 10. Flacco drops back, throws it up the middle. Caught. Touchdown. Oh, my God.
Stop it.
Oh, my God.
Stop it.
Touchdown Jets with 22 seconds left. Oh, my God. I'm going to be sick. I don't know. The fans must be throwing up like I was on Monday. This is as bad a regular season loss as you can have. Oh, my God. Guys, we've seen it all. We've seen it all. Cleveland Browns fans have seen it all. But Dick, there are worse losses in the playoffs. There could be a bad loss late in the season that could cost you the playoffs. But to lose to a terrible football team up 13 with 2 minutes to go when they had no timeouts is, we said last week, there's no excuse. Guys, this was beyond, everybody's stunned right now. This was beyond disgusting. First of all, it's mostly the defense. Kareem Hunt running out of bounds. I don't know what he's doing. The coaching staff failed. They should have told Nick Chubb to take a knee at the 1 yard line. That's not on Nick Chubb. I don't blame him at all. That's on the coaching staff. And then the defense, which is 99.9% responsible. Denzel Ward, I just spoke to Tyvis. He said Denzel thought it was cover 2 when they were playing cover 3. Everybody else knew it. I said, Tyvis, would they ever play cover 2 on that play? He said, no. Denzel Ward, you get paid $100 million. You have to make that. What are you doing? And then the onside kick, and then and Grant Delpit's in the end zone on the final play. What a freaking disgrace. Sick of this crap. We keep saying they're the best defense, great defense, great. No, they're not. They sucked the whole game. Go ahead, Brad.
I'm speechless. First of all, can we take a moment of silence?
I think we did already.
Take a moment of silence here for this nonsense, right? And I was telling Jay just a short while ago, it amazes me. I mean, across this country, Browns fans were calling me from across this country. They are all irate. It's not the fact that they lost. It's how Cleveland seems to find a way, I don't care what franchise it is, to find a way to outdo the last franchise. I mean, we have taken so many bad losses across the board, but yesterday, you could not tell me that going up 2 scores and under 2 minutes to go, that this thing was even in jeopardy. But I tell you what, when he missed that kick, it sent a chill through everybody that was a Browns fan that there was a bad omen about to happen here. And sure enough, with a lickety-split time, what happened? We panic and go down the tubes, and there's enough accountability that we're going to get through today that we're going to touch on just about everybody.
I don't want to hear any more kicker chants.
There's some accountability around here.
The Browns have been waterboarding their fans for 30 years, and yesterday they grabbed the bucket and the towel one more time. I was in the locker room post-game, and the disgust in the players. Like, everyone's quiet after a loss, right? Like, it's the locker room silent after a loss. It's, guys, but there's still usually some guys laughing a little bit or joking or whatever because it's one game and whatever will come back from it. Not yesterday. Yesterday was the most disgusted I've seen a Browns locker room after a loss, and rightfully so. I agree with Bull. Listen, we're going to empty the clip on the defense, but there is enough blame to go around to other facets of the game. And ultimately, Kevin Stefanski said it ends with him, and he's right. He's the head coach. He has to be accountable. He has to get their attention. He has to get the attention of the defense somehow, some way, whether it's the players, whether it's Joe Woods. And it's Joe Woods then getting the attention of the players. But this cannot happen again. This hasn't happened in over 2,000 games, and the last time it happened, it was the Browns. In my opinion, this was the worst loss since they came back. There have been playoff losses, obviously, that have hurt more. There have been more consequential losses. But for a situation like this where you're up 2 scores, 2 minutes left, the other team doesn't have a timeout, to lose this game is inexcusable. It's worse than the Dwayne Rudd helmet throw. The Chiefs were in that game. They led that game with a couple minutes left. It's worse than the 2001 loss to Chicago. They were still an expansionary team then with not a lot of expectations. This is supposed to be a team of grown-ups, run by adults. This can't happen, period.
You know, I see. I just don't. You know, I'm in the locker room. I played the game before. I don't see people that want it. Seriously, I just don't see nobody that want it. When you give up a touchdown, you see the defense and secondary, and they throw the ball over your head, and you're the one who busted the play, and you have a missed assignment. Sprint your ass downfield and make the tackle. I see guys jogging and trotting behind the play. That's infuriating. That means you don't care. I don't see nobody on the sideline saying, guys, we're not going to have this. We busted plays last week. We busted plays again this week. Leadership starts from them captains. We got too many dudes that's silent. Too many people that look like they got cartoon characters with bubbles over their head. We got to guess what you're thinking. Where are the people on the sideline getting people together? Where's Kevin Stefanski bringing people up on the sideline saying, listen, guys, we have 13 points. Know your assignments. What is your assignment? What do we got here? Quizzing people. And you know what the problem is? It's camp cupcake. People talk about, oh, we don't want to get nobody hurt. I don't care if nobody get hurt because you're losing anyway. Give me the backups. Give me the LeCounts of the world. Give me the guys that are backing up something. At least I know somebody's gonna know their position and know what they're doing. But you know what we do? We got a bunch of dudes drinking Kool-Aid all preseason. Guys in the off-season program, I twisted my hamstring. Everybody, Denzel Ward, you missed all the camp. Let's keep it a buck. But if you gonna miss all the camp, you better show us you know what you're doing on your assignments. And everybody is laxed, everybody's chilling, we'll get it fixed, it's 1 of 17. That's the difference between you and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the difference between you and the Pittsburgh Steelers. When y'all doing Camp Cupcake, Pittsburgh is hitting and Patrick Mahomes is playing. That's the difference. And coaches need to be in the room too, getting in the regular season mind state. The plays is coming in too slow. You're looking on your sheet of integrity and you don't know what's going on. The answers ain't on the sheet. Stop looking at these sheets and stats and get into it and understand what y'all need to do to win football games. Because right now, y'all look real expansionish.
You ever been in that situation where you're at a loss for words, but at the same time there are so many words that it floods your brain? That's where I was yesterday, about 4:15. I think it's where I am right now. I've seen a lot of horrible losses and a lot of terrible football, but I can't remember a time when I just felt so defeated as yesterday. And everybody's going to play the blame game today. And everybody is to blame. All 53 players on that roster, all 45 that put their feet on the grass yesterday, if their cleats touched the grass yesterday, they're responsible. But in football, like in business, there's got to be a fall guy. Somebody's got to be to blame. Kevin Stefanski, you wish you had the preseason over now? All the things we saw yesterday, that's stuff that you work out in the preseason, not in game 2 of the regular season. We should have figured that out in the second game of the preseason. You didn't want to play anybody. We're ready. We're good. We're good. You weren't good yesterday. And here's the saddest part. This team's heroes, Hunt, Chubb, Garrett, Ward, they all made mistakes yesterday that would have changed the outcome of the game, as well as they played for 58 minutes. Everybody wants to blame Chubb for not falling. He should have fallen. And he knows to fall. He's done it before. We've seen him do it. He doesn't need to be told by his coach, but his coach should reiterate it. That's what coaches do. Chubb could have fallen. On that last drive, Hunt had 2 opportunities to get out of bounds, or to stay in bounds, rather, and keep the clock going. Instead, they gave the Jets 5 timeouts when they most needed them. They went out of bounds. Once, he probably couldn't help it. The first time, he could have gone down. He's got to know the situation. Who do you blame? The coach. Your players weren't ready to play. It would have been different if Hunt had gone down, if Chubb had gone down, if Cooper could have caught an onside kick, if York could make a freaking extra point, if Brissett doesn't throw an interception at the last on the last offensive play of the game for the Browns. They were in field goal range. A 10-yard completion, a timeout, a kick, you win the game. If the defense could learn how to communicate, they're 2-0. If Myles Garrett could have had more than one tackle, I don't want to hear any more of this craziness that he's the most talented defensive player in the league. It's garbage. He's not. He's not. He has the ability to. He had one tackle. One tackle. And then he's going to jump on the fans for booing? You know what the right answer is in that situation, Miles? I would have booed myself too. You're going to blame the fans for booing you? You guys deserve it. It should have been worse. And you're going to flip it on the fans. Fans work their ass off all week long to be able to afford a ticket because they don't make $25 million a year. They want to go to the game and be entertained. They don't want to make that walk of shame from the stadium to their car, knowing that they're a fan of the worst, most mocked football team in the last 30 years in the NFL. They don't deserve that. The fans deserve better. And then you're going to attack them for booing. Nonsense. Special teams. I've always liked Prefer. I thought he was one of the best special teams coaches in the league. You got schooled on a fake punt, you miss an extra point, and you can't handle an onside kick. This is the most disappointing thing at all. ESPN does a win probability stat throughout the course of the game based on everything that's happened to that point. When the Browns scored their touchdown to go up 13 with a minute 55, the win probability rate was 99.9%. Think about that. 99.1%. And they lost.
2,229 consecutive games teams had won in that situation.
The last team to blow it was the Browns. So as we play the blame game, and we're going to do that throughout the next 2 hours, and there's a lot of blame to go around. Kevin Stefanski, all eyes are on you.
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the good news. No harm, no foul. The entire division is sitting in the same tiers that the Browns are sitting in right now. Bengals lost one they should have won. Ravens, oh my God. I would not want to be John Harbaugh or a Baltimore Raven this morning. 35-14 in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh, you had a chance to win too. So the good news is the Browns are exactly today where they were yesterday before the game was played. And Kevin Stefanski, you are about to undergo the biggest coaching challenge of your career. This is it. This is it. You got 3 days to get your team ready for a Pittsburgh team that is as bad as they've been in a very long time. Their offense looks drunk. You better win Thursday night. Or Myles Garrett, you better bring earplugs.
That Thursday night post game, that Friday show is going to be ugly if they lose this game. You're right, they got lucky that all the other teams lost in this division, and it is good, but you had a chance to be 2-0. They should have been 2-0 while everybody else
should be 2-0.
That's for fans, though. Isn't that for fans? The coach has to say, guys, let's go.
Of course.
Listen,
it's got to be put behind you this morning.
They're a 58-yard field goal away from being 0-2.
You're exactly right.
That's true.
You're exactly right.
They're a
so you know
miracle
what?
kick away.
Here's the way I do the math. You're so right. And I came up with that last night, too, and I thought, well, the NFL gods give and the NFL gods take.
Yep.
And here's the bottom line. We're not where we wanted to be through 2 games, but we're still in first place. Yeah. We're 1-1, and I know you can play the if game and say we should be 2-0. We could be 0-2.
Yeah, but the other teams in this division have played better teams on the schedule so far.
Absolutely.
Well,
And
no question.
And so it's not apples to apples. The
No
Browns'
question.
schedule's getting tough. We talked about they had to go at least 3-1, if not 4-0, in these first 4 games.
They can still go
I'm not
3-1.
I'm not saying the season's over. That's silly.
It's
It's
not.
2 games.
It's not.
But
But
man,
this team's got issues.
It's
that they
hard
better
to
fix.
move on from that game so quickly.
So this is beyond that, right? Because the schedule is what it is, right? My whole, I'm a basketball guy, right? But my problem is the lack of accountability, Jay.
Yeah.
Right?
Disturbing.
First of all, I told you before we just preseason is not to sit on the sideline. It's prepared to get people prepared to play. That's what it is. You can't walk off the sideline into a major competition feeling like you're ready to go. Because these are rookie mistakes here. And it's just not the play, it's just the players. The coaching yesterday down the stretch, and not just Stefanski, because in basketball, the head coach is watching the game, trying to do the makes and shifts as the game changes. There's someone on the sideline that is in his ear that tells him, hey, it's the math game now. We're not playing the Jets. We just have to run the clock out. The Jets are going to get this ball back with 18 seconds to go, with 99 yards to go. That's what's happening.
There was a chance they wouldn't have got it back.
No,
at
they
all.
would have had no time.
If Chubb falls on the 1 yard line,
there's no time.
The
left.
game is over.
Maybe 3 seconds, 2 seconds.
So
Not
at the
even.
most.
There
No,
were going to be some seconds
It's
left.
over.
But it was over.
Yeah.
But it was apparent to me yesterday that nobody was even in his ear, because that message would have got relayed to the quarterback to tell him, don't do this nonsense.
And to your point, this organization is all in on analytics.
That's what.
It's all we hear about.
If
Analytics,
we're all about the numbers,
analytics, playing the percentages.
That's right.
I'll tell you, they had a 99.9% chance to win if he went into the end zone. They had a 100% chance to win if he took a knee.
But I will tell you this. You know what it appeared to me from the sideline? There's always the top assistant who has enough moxie to be in the head coach's ear, right? He'll push back. I see no pushback over there, right? No. They sit there like mummies.
Maybe Stefanski shouldn't. You know, I've always thought this too much was made of it, but maybe Kevin Stefanski needs to back away from calling the play so he can be focused on the team.
Well, I've maintained that. And by the way, yesterday, I thought he called a great game. I thought he called a great game. We wanted more run. We saw more run. We wanted more Chubb in the fourth quarter. We saw it. Hunt in that last drive, the last 2 drives, was fantastic. I thought the game plan was.
It was flawless.
Brissett almost pitched a perfect game.
Flawless.
Brissett, until the pick, had played as good a game as
and
you could
here's
possibly
what's scary
expect from
about
him.
that.
Yeah.
They can play that well and lose?
To a bad team, or a team we think is going to be bad.
And by the way, I know that we killed Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's leading the NFL right now in passing.
Yeah.
I know that last year after 2 games, Darnold did and all of that. But I think we wrote his obituary too soon.
Well, he
had
played
4 touchdowns and no sack.
The Browns got no pressure on him basically the whole day.
Mikey, what do you
None.
got?
No interceptions. He threw no interceptions.
I want to give us a little direction, but I got to tell you something real quick. I woke up today for the first time since I moved to Cleveland just feeling disgusted after watching what happened yesterday.
Imagine having 50 years of sweat equity.
I'm learning
Boy, you ain't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
You ain't even scratched the surface
Welcome to
yet.
Heartbreak
You have, here, let me tell you, let me get to
Well,
my.
Brad, hold
Brad, hold
on.
on.
The only thing that snapped me out of that funk was the Built Bar I had this morning, because I needed that Built Bar to get back into the groove of what I needed.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah, I saw that coming a mile away.
if you used code LOCKEDON15, you get 15% off Built Bars at Built.com. The chocolate chip cookie dough puffs are delicious. Got to get those. I'm going to bring them down for you next episode. But listen, I had to ask Jason a question. Jason, this is serious now. You were in the locker room. You said it was the most pissed off you've seen the players afterwards. You've been in a ton of locker rooms throughout your career. What made yesterday different than some of the other times you have been in locker rooms and seen players after losses not be jubilant, for lack of a better word?
Just absolute disgust to the point where I would walk up to a player and go, "What the hell just happened?" And they just shook their head in disgust and more or less walked away. Because they didn't. I mean, everyone. It's just one of those. Jay, I'm sure you guys who've been in locker rooms, you've lived it. No. You walk in and you're like, whoa.
You know the temperature the second you walk in the door.
And it's one of those things you can't really explain, but when you walk in, you know the thermostat is going up.
I wasn't there yesterday, so I don't know what it was like. The most, twice in my career, 95 Game 6 Braves, the Indians locker room was, out of respect for the players and needing to observe their silence, there was silence for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Nobody could even form a question. What was the worst was 97 Marlins. What happened in that game is all the media, as you know, is ushered down to the outside door of the clubhouse to come in. And this is how bad it was. We couldn't hear the game. We couldn't see the game. There were no monitors outside of the Marlins clubhouse. We felt what felt like a small earthquake, and I'm not exaggerating. Everybody was looking around like, what's going on right now? The doors of the clubhouse flew open, and out came carts of champagne and carts of hats and shirts that said Cleveland Indians World Series champions. They were pulling plastic down from all out throughout the clubhouse.
Yeah.
The players came in, we came in, and I'd never seen a situation like that in my life in professional sports. And I've been in losing clubhouses
Yeah.
to Super Bowl teams.
Yeah.
I've never felt anything, but I actually asked, I wonder what this postmortem is like in there. And I felt like, I bet it's, to compare it to the only thing I know, I bet it's similar to the 97 Game 7 loss. And the other thing that I asked, and I'm going to look to you for this, we're all saying everyone's to blame, but it all goes uphill. Kevin Stefanski said one thing right in his news conference yesterday, in which he said nothing. His lips moved a lot. He said nothing. He got one thing right. It's on him.
Yeah. But we've heard that before.
I know we have, and you know what? It's lip
generic
service.
nonsense.
It is. It's lip service and
Yeah.
it's generic. But here's what the question I have for you.
We've had coaches in this town before who tried
That's
to
true.
Yeah, but
blame.
Stefanski's not one of them.
He's not
Stefanski
one of them.
will
True.
fall
Said it
hard
head
on the
on.
sword.
Absolutely.
But you know what? That's not good enough.
No, it's
in
not.
this loss, that's not good enough. And my question to you, Jay, is did you get a sense at all? I know nobody said anything. But if we're all looking at Stefanski, did you get a sense that the eye emoji from this football team is also on him too?
I actually don't think so. I think it's on the players.
So they were blaming
looking at
themselves.
each other. They're
okay,
looking
that's
at each
good.
other.
I'm glad to hear that because from that they can move on.
Yeah.
I can see that in Newsom's comments yesterday, right? When he was talking about communicating. But let me get back to this thing with Mikey and
the
Miles,
pain.
and Miles Garrett.
The pain he
You have
experienced.
no idea what the pain looks like.
Love you.
You have no idea. And yesterday
buddy. I had
the booing was not because how they lost. It was obviously for how they lost. It's for the pain.
Yeah.
How many times can you get kicked when you're in the ground, right? And we represent this team wherever we go, right?
Yeah.
A friend of mine, you know what she told me yesterday? She said, you know what it's like? It's like the kid waiting in the park for his father just to show up. I'm waiting for you.
And he never shows.
And he never shows.
Yeah.
Because I was, for 2 hours, I couldn't do a thing.
I was
I couldn't
paralyzed
do a
too.
thing. I could not do a thing because why? We have been down this road before. And I will tell you, I've been on the other side of it. See that dagger we did and the Chicago Bulls did to the Cavaliers in '89?
I still have the scar.
I was there.
I
I
still
was
have
at the
scar.
scene of the crime. I was a participant.
Yep.
Right? And I'll never forget 21,000 in Richfield Coliseum at a frenzied pace, at a frenzied pitch with 3 seconds to go.
Silent.
Then we dropped that dagger, and the whole place went silent. Here's a kid that grew up 15 minutes from the place. And I was like, damn. Just another piece of the pie.
As you know, that's one of many.
That's just one of many. And the Browns do it, the Indians, Guardians do it. And yesterday, the people across this country just had enough.
Yeah.
Like, you break my heart every time.
Listen, there's a lot of damn people, and I'm going to be honest with you. I told you before this season started. The problem with us is we go about and we pick scapegoats for everybody. You give sacrificial lambs. It was OBJ, then it was Baker, then you know, that now we got to figure out what we're doing. Then we got Deshaun Watson. See, a lot of y'all just happy to be in the news. I'm trying to figure out. You're just happy to be in these headlines because I'm going to tell you what. I ain't trying to hear nobody say I raised my hand for accountability. Guess what? I'm all about consequences. If I raise my hand and say, yeah, I murdered that person, your ass is still going to jail. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody crying for you. And we got a bunch of people sitting here, I'll take accountability for it. It's all on me. No, what are the consequences, Coach? Who's not starting next week?
Bingo.
Yep.
Who ain't playing no
Tell
more,
me.
Coach? But you kumbaya, and I believe in calling people out publicly. See, I feel like getting up there on some Denny Green. It's a bunch of people on our team that think they're better than they are.
Can't win with them.
Can't play with them. Can't play with them.
Can't do it.
There's a lot of guys getting paid big money on this team, and they're not playing up to their contract. And when Myles Garrett, man, and I love Myles Garrett, but put that quote back up, please, Mikey. That Mary Kay Cabot quote from Myles Garrett. Lamented the fact that fans booed at the end of the game, feels the players should be respected, doesn't want the fans giving up. The fans in this town are the most loyal fans on the face of the earth. They stick by players when they let them down all the time, like no fan base I have ever seen in my life. You cannot. Now, a fan says something inappropriate, a fan throws something on the field, okay, but that's not what happened here. The Browns
Look at that number, by the way.
Yeah.
Bull.
Pathetic.
Look at that.
34 points to the Jets and the Panthers.
And Bull, first of all, I want to commend you for your comment. You're from New York. You know fan bases.
Yes.
You know how bad they can be. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Florida. I've been all around the country covering all the pro sports teams. You're right. This fan base is the most resilient fan base because when other teams turn in 30-year eggs, there's none left.
They go away.
They're gone.
No.
And here we are, packing the joint, watching garbage like that, and then we have to hear from our best player who made his name was in the box score for one play.
He did nothing.
He's going to ridicule the fans.
That's ridiculous.
For their right to boo after they spent $200 to watch that garbage.
Most of the fans here, they're cleaning up garbage. They're working in factories. They're doing office jobs. They're barely getting by. All their disposable income is to watch this freaking team play for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. All you have to do as a player is say you love Cleveland and give them anything, and they will love you like no other fan base.
Forever.
And you're going to complain about
You know what he should have said?
What?
We deserve to be booed.
Of course they
and
did.
they deserve better.
100%.
And we're going to give them better Thursday night.
Better.
Jay, get to this because you was an apropos statement here, right? What I don't see on any great team, who is the freaking leader?
That's what I want to know.
Who is because somebody was supposed to be in somebody's grill, like this. You saw Flacco. Flacco said, "Hold on, they're gonna give us a chance. Get ready. They're gonna give us a chance. Be ready." That's what Flacco was saying. Who is that?
Where was our leader?
Who is this?
And you know what? They always say that a team takes on the personality of their head coach. Unfortunately,
that's what it looks like.
That's happened here.
That's what it looked like.
He's got no energy.
Laissez-faire.
I want him to be as angry as we are.
Yeah.
He comes to the mic.
Everything's okay.
Well, that didn't go our way.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to take all the blame.
So, G,
we got to do better. No, not acceptable.
All their leaders are quiet like him.
But wait a minute.
Who's the pit bull?
Sometimes
Who is it?
I was 18 years old, 19 years old in college. I came from high school. I went to OU. And I went from winning against Ignatius to coming here and getting blown out by Buffalo. I saw guys running around doing layups before a game, and I looked around and the game plan was terrible. I went up to my coach and said, "Look, what we doing? This game plan is trash." I said, "You coaching like you scared." He looked like he had seen a ghost. Because at the end of the day, those people was in the bunker with you. Mm-hmm. A player has to say, y'all got to keep each other accountable. Mm-hmm. That's why you run those laps. That's why they almost break you. They break your spirit so that you understand that it's going to be hard as hell to win. Winning is damn near impossible when you're playing against somebody across the line that's just as talented as you.
And maybe wants it more.
And want it more.
The Jets played that game like they wanted it more.
You know what that hat says to me? Culture.
Mm-hmm. Culture.
Culture. Tradition.
It means something.
Wanting to be great. Holding one another accountable. You learned that there.
I don't see it. Jay, I don't see it.
I don't know where it's coming from our guys.
The Jets played that game yesterday like they were the team
By
going
the way,
for the playoffs.
did his players not rally around Robert Saleh yesterday?
They
He said, "I'm taking receipts." He knew his ass was buried. It was a loss. He knew it just like we knew it was a win.
Yeah.
His guys never gave up on him.
You see Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson walking here like
How about Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson walking here like he was at Ohio Stadium.
Yeah.
He said,
and
I'm
played-
back in
and
Ohio
played like
here. Let me get these touchdowns, and while I get my first one, let me do the block over everybody.
Yep.
And
Because
Jason,
I'm
I
back
know you
home.
want to jump in, but real quick, because on the post-game show yesterday, we went from elation when we came on in 2 minutes to being so angry and yelling and screaming. You said, like, if you're Denzel Ward, who played a crap game yesterday, he's got to go up to Joe Woods and say, "I got Garrett Wilson in the fourth quarter.
That's what all
I'm
corners
shutting
do.
him down."
That's what all
That's
the great
it.
ones do.
Game over.
All the great ones.
He had his head up his ass.
But why does I agree with you.
Yeah.
But why isn't Joe Woods saying that?
I don't know. Now, Tyvis made the point that when they're playing cover 3, it's kind of like playing man, and you can't.
Can we not bump either? Can we not play bump?
I don't know.
Bumper Rump dead.
I don't know what happened to it.
Did you just go?
I'm watching the game and I'm going, why are we giving everybody a free release on every single play?
And by the way, it wasn't just the fourth quarter in this game.
I know.
Jets receivers were 1 and free the whole game.
And I don't get it.
I have no idea.
Listen, Tyvis Powell this week is appointment viewing. Well, you have got to watch him.
I can't wait to get him
Wednesday,
in here.
right? He's
Wednesday,
in Wednesday.
yeah.
Make time out of your schedule to watch him. Seriously, you're going to want to see this. We've all been texting with him periodically. I was texting with him this morning. The way that he can explain to you why Denzel Ward blew it on that coverage play at the end of the game, and really why Denzel had a bad game all along. Grant Delpit on the game-winning touchdown. Tyvis said it's elementary 101. That's the first thing they teach you. Put your heels on the goal line. Don't go into the end zone until the route takes you into the end zone.
Which it didn't.
He never went in. He caught it. Garrett Wilson caught it outside of the end zone.
Yeah.
There was no reason for Delpit to be in the end zone.
Crazy.
So just the way that Tyvis can explain this to you, you really want to watch him. You want to watch him every week, but especially this week.
A former NFL defensive back texted me yesterday that at halftime of the Panthers game, the Panthers astutely made the adjustment that these defensive backs are confused.
Right.
They don't know what's going on. And they started bunching receivers and running crossings, and they quickly learned they don't know what's going on. They can't follow things.
Instead of correcting what happened, they went the other way and screwed up the whole game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Carolina caught it at halftime and said, there's a lot of opportunities that we're not taking advantage of. These defensive backs aren't communicating. They're lost. They can't handle crossing routes. Let's just put bunch receivers up. The same person then said, off that half of tape, the Jets defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator astutely figured out what Carolina figured out in a half. These guys are lost back there. They don't know what's going on. We're going to bunch receivers up. We're going to put 2 and 3 to a side, bunch them all together, and off the release, they're losing guys. And I said last week, I said, you know what's amazing to me when Tyvis diagrammed what happened? I said, what's amazing to me is that doesn't happen more often. And apparently that now is the book on this defense.
Yeah.
Well, and I know we're going to bring Tim in, but real quick to what you said, Tyvis was telling me this morning, Robert Saleh is like the creator of this defense that the Browns are running. And Mike LaFleur, the Jets offensive coordinator, knows all the counters and all the breakers to it because he's been coaching in it for 6 years. Yeah. So that's important to keep in mind that the Jets know how to break this better than probably anyone, and certainly
and they broke it.
Let's get Tim take on it.
Yeah, Tim, we were speechless. We really were. We didn't have words. The floor is yours, man. Get it all off your chest. It's therapeutic.
Yeah, man, it was tough to watch. It was painful, and unfortunately for me, it brought back a little PTSD from the last time this happened in the NFL was in 2001, which I was unfortunately a part of as well. We were beating the Bears on the road in Soldier Field. We were up by 14 points actually with about a minute and a half to go. And they scored a touchdown, got an onside kick, and threw a Hail Mary and took us to overtime and beat us in that game. So, you just don't see breakdowns like this with that type of lead late in games. But it was a hard pill to swallow, man. But other than that, before that happened, I thought Jacoby Brissett played a hell of a football game. The way he was distributing the football, his accuracy, he seemed like he was in really good command of the offense. But, it's just unfortunate the way it all ended for him.
Hey, Tim, we were talking with Tyvis before the show, and he said that on that long touchdown to Corey Davis, that Denzel Ward, like that, they were playing cover 3, and Denzel Ward for some reason thought they were in cover 2 when the whole rest of the team knew they were in cover 3. And I said to Tyvis, who was a DB in the league, I said, would you ever play cover 2 in that situation? He said no. So I can't wrap my head around why Denzel Ward, like how weird is it, A, for one player to get the coverage wrong when the whole rest of the team has it right, especially a coverage that you wouldn't typically play in that situation. How egregious is that error on his part?
It's unbelievably rare that you would make that error in that moment, especially a player like Denzel, who's a heck of a football player, and just to not be on the same page, man. You can't have a breakdown in communication, especially at that point in the game. The last thing you're going to do is let a receiver get behind you. You have to understand what coverage you're in. As Tyvis said, it's going to be cover 3, probably cover 4, something where you're getting deep. You're getting deeper than their deepest guy. You're not letting anyone just run past you at the line of scrimmage and get a free release. So it was, an extremely unfortunate time to have a breakdown like that. It's inexcusable in that moment for a player like Denzel to let that happen. So those guys got to start getting on the same page. There's too many breakdowns in coverage and miscommunication going on in that secondary right now.
So Tim, it's 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row that this has gone on. Who is the person? Because people sometimes confuse in sports that they think it's the stars that hold everybody accountable. Sometimes it's not. It's somebody within the group that's holding everybody accountable. I'm looking for that person on the Browns. Who is the person on the defensive side of the ball that is holding the other players accountable? Because the coaches can only do so much. At some point, somebody's got to get in somebody's grill like, you letting us down, right? And the other side of that is, after 2 performances like this, somebody's getting bits today. You're not in the lineup next week because we can't trust you now. So who is that person, Tim, that holds the defensive side accountable?
You know, I don't know if they found that person yet so far on this defense, but that person is going to have to step up because there has to be that communicator on the defense. There has to be constant communication going on, especially in that secondary between the corners and the safeties and understanding what coverage you're in and where your help's coming from. And right now it's just not happening, and somebody's certainly going to have to step up and take over that role. And like you said, I would expect some changes to be made in the secondary going forward after these last 2 weeks of the breakdowns and allowing big plays over the top.
Tim, after a devastating loss like this, next time you're in the building, what's that day like? What's Kevin say? How does he get – ultimately, it's his responsibility. What does he do to get guys' attention?
You know, it's a tough feeling when you walk in the next day when you blow a lead like that. It's so hard to win football games in the NFL as is. When you have a game won and you just let it go and, you blow it, it's so hard to recover from that emotionally. You know, it's such a letdown. And there's a lot of fingers to be pointed. There's a lot of blame to be passed around when you have a breakdown like that. But it's really just, you're just coming in and trying to get guys to put it behind them and move on as best you can. That's way easier said than done. But you just try to focus on the next game and just turn the page as quickly as possible because, there's no weeks off in the NFL. You got to get ready to go again this week. But like I said, that's way easier said than done. Guys still feel a lot of responsibility and a lot of letdown from a loss like that. So it's a tough situation for the next couple days. In that locker room, you're going to have to rely on the leaders within the locker room to really kind of, police, the locker room and get guys motivated, get ready to practice and start focusing on the game this week.